upload this to YouTube, not Facebook. Okay, I'm just gonna go along. Maybe this will help me organize my fucking thoughts. I'm so fucking tired. Okay. Just start with what I have right here. Let's see. My car, the Enterprise car, that I rented, that I was paying a lot for on a weekly rate, was returned under some something about the cops being called because I had not returned the Enterprise car, not because I was trying to steal it, I was actually trying to buy it, and my mom would know that, but leaving my sister accountable for it, she had it returned, but when I called Enterprise, they said that, and they got real hush-hush about that it was deserted in a mobile home park. Well, that's interesting because it was the 24th and it's my mobile home park and I rented the car, and my sister had put in an email that the keys were lost and they were actually stolen the night that I was arrested by Stacy. She stole the keys. She had the keys to my car. And yeah, she accessed my car. That's when all this shit was stolen from my house. Like my jewelry. Gosh, I think she did it more than once. Trying to even remember. But none of my reports were taken into consideration. Prove it, but we'll arrest you for no reason at all, for disturbing the peace, for raising hell about her stealing shit. So the night I was arrested, she broke in again and stole all my jewelry, all the armor, all my jewelry, like my personal jewelry, not my jewelry that was on the boat, which was tons of silver, because I had a silver store for 7 years, a silver locket. God, I'm going to have to show you my records. 7 years. And I own this fucking house outright, and I own that fucking boat too. So, anyway, my mom paid the remainder of $219, but they said there was no charge for the fob. What'd they say? I'll find it. They said no keys. I think they said no keys were charged. That's what they said. But your insurance covers it. I was like, but if I didn't return the fob, those things are expensive, like $200. I was like, why was there not a notification about the keys? I mean, why was that not on the itemized receipt? Even if it doesn't matter if insurance covered it or if Enterprise was trying to, trying to actually cover their liability in the situation. But they said, oh, we must have called at least 10 times. They didn't call at least 10 times because I just got my phone records, and the last day I had my phone, the day they said it was picked up, was the 24th. And something about the police being called. I don't like this at all. And then my mom just now admitting today that she had the police put the bag in my house. Now, this is weird. How did they get... Anyway, if the bag got put in my house was stuff from the boat. No. That stuff was collected from all over the place. Because that little book, the little Sydney book, was stolen from my house. By Stacy. Was stolen. I remember. Because she went through my bookcase And I couldn't believe she would steal that fucking book. And I raised hell about it. Somehow that made it back. And why is that significant? I'll tell you why it's significant. Is because my sister and Stacy had a relationship for a really long time where if, this is the thing, if they had a relationship for such a long time, she had a consciousness enough, or my sister was like, at least give her back the book that I was raising fucking hell about. That's why it's significant. Like, and Adam was up in here too. But having that book returned was fucking strange because she didn't give a shit about what was fucking returned. The fact that that got returned by my niece means my sister and her were talking, and she was like, at least return the book. That means something to her, but I didn't get any of the electronics back. And also, I'm sorry, but that Google account, and now my mom says the cops were in here. Well, did they take my computer? And my password, my new password was either written down. I don't like this at all. It was either written down, my new password. Because I was like, I'm having problems with the other ones. I'm having security problems. And I had come up with Snowflake 2018, which was either written down. I'd just written it down as my new password. I was like, time to change the passwords, having security problems. And having all this shit broken into. Well, the odd thing was, when my sister set up my Google account, which was May the 6th, and I printed out when it was created, she came up with my password, which I was like, that's odd, because you'd have to actually have access to one of my computers to get that password. Otherwise, you have to set up a new one. I know this because I've been locked out of my Google account so much, and Google has some pretty high security standards, so it's kind of hard to find that out, unless, I don't even like this at all. And my mom just told me today, oh, well, I'll let the cops in your house. I was like, well, that couldn't be a problem. But yeah, it was right at, sorry, this window, yeah, where the bag got put back. That's what's so fucked up. All the fucking secrets. Oh, this is fucking sick. Anyway, it got put in this window. This was the window that Adam fucking broke it into that night. I got to figure out which one is his number. Because I literally met him that night at the mobile station. It might have been the time that I actually did put $77 in the car. Because let me show you this. Paperwork everywhere. This is what I get locked out of all the time. And I just ordered locks. This thing right here, if it gets turned, like it gets stuck like that, I can totally lock myself out of the house. In fact, Jan next door can attest that I had them in between the boat and stuff and going into 4 storage lockers. I had multiple locks and so much confusion that I came back a few times during regular, well, it was still normal hours where I had one of her kids like crawl through that door and unlock this. But that thing, and usually I have a tool. This is a tool I have outside that I can like peek my head in when I do that to myself. Let me explain this too. I'll show you something. Yeah, this is the sales sign. This little thing right here was obviously inside because I'd been locking myself out and in so much that I didn't even have that back outside before I went outside to smoke a cigarette and locked myself out. But I had the keys to the rental car. Yeah, the keys to the rental car. And I hadn't had my other keys put on it when I locked myself out. So I was able to drive. Yeah, that's what it was. I was able to drive to the mobile station But no, I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a phone. It was inside. And that's why I had to get the attendant to call for a locksmith, which is crazy because what's another crazy thing is I knew Manny. I knew Manny. Yeah, I knew Manny. Well, I knew Manny, the guy who was a fucking attendant there, because, well, anyway, sorry, but I hooked up with Manny, and that was a source of weirdness. But the thing was, that got really fucking odd, was the next time I went back up there, and I said something to the extent of, after my life was ruined, I was just like, yeah, you remember that day that you wouldn't call a locksmith? Well, thanks a lot, because, and then they said something about fucking Trump Towers, or something weird like that you were claiming. Well, what was weird about that is I feel like they were investigated. They were investigated. It's just, it's odd. But anyway, it was late, and she wouldn't call me a locksmith. And she was rude as shit. It was like I showed up, and no, she was rude, and she wouldn't call me a fucking locksmith. I mean, it was late, but I was like, could you please? And I waited outside, and I waited outside, and I waited outside. She wouldn't call. I asked some other guys. Actually, I actually flagged down somebody else at the mobile station too, and I said, will you call a locksmith? And I don't think they came. That's right, I actually talked to a locksmith with somebody else's phone, and they never came. And then I came across Adam Cortez, because I had to get in my fucking house. I could not get a locksmith. God damn it, fucking assholes. Get in my fucking house. And all this. Now I have all this. Anyway, that's the first night that I fucking met Adam Cortez. It was a coincidence. What's going on out here? So, my mom let the fucking cops in my house. Well, I mean, that changes everything. That actually changes a lot. That changes a lot. But I want to know, was she present? What the fuck? Anyway, there's just stuff that was withheld that could have been avoided if people could just tell me the truth. And now I have to go to court. And now I have to fight for this. This is insane. This is insane. My mom was so naive. So naive.